This isn't going to be your normal WreckTalk preview video. It's going to be more like a reality check for the North Carolina fan. Now, they've already had a heavy dose of reality, also known as 3 straight losses to James Madison, who beat you 70-50, scored over 50 first half points. Then you get Duke in a total rebuild, totally new staff. They hire Manny Diaz out of Penn State, and you get a 20-point lead. And the North Carolina fans thinking, oh boy, we're right back on track. We might win the ACC. And then you let the Dukies take a Dukies right on you in the second half. And they beat you 21-20. Then you let Pitt hang 520 yards of offense and 34 points on you. You have the easiest schedule in the ACC, one of the easiest schedules in the country, and you might not make a bowl. All of a sudden, when you're not propped up by Drake May or Sam Howell, you're an awful football team. Georgia Tech beats you in Key's interim year when he has 2, quarters of a quarterback in Zach Gibson and Pumachan in Keenan. And I think we came back from like a 21-point deficit in that game. You've got your coach who tried to retire after he got embarrassed by James Madison. And then he was like, hey, man, I'm totally just kidding. I'm not going to pull a Steve Spurrier. And then he has the gall to come out and say in this week's press conference, yeah, man, this is totally uncharacteristic of us. We tend to be a second half team. You've never been a second half team. Teams score points in the second half on you like it's going out of style. Not only are you not a second half team, I've never seen a team that's more not a second half team than North Carolina. You don't care about defense at all. Now, how do I know that? You hired Jeff Collins. You hired Jeff Collins as your DC. And there ain't been no one, and I mean no one, on the internet that tried to tell you more than WreckTalk that this was going to end up the way it did. Yeah, you beat Minnesota and NC Central and Chapel Hill High School, A&M State, Kitty Lick Lick University. But then when you face your first test, what turned out to be James Madison, mentally deficient Collins sets history again. Makes history giving up the most points North Carolina's ever given up. They haven't even given up 70 all last basketball. We got to keep y'all's attention. There's the basketball. Stay tuned. We got the basketball up. Sets history again. Then you drop 520 yards on, or Pitt drops to 520 yards of offense on you. Are you going to make a bowl? I don't know. Then you have Jeff Collins talking about, for 10 minutes, his get-back coach. Oh, boy, let me tell you something about this get-back coach. These get-back coaches I have gone places. There's been heads of state that are my get-back coaches. Mr. Red Dot Dapping is doing just what we thought he would do to your defense. Please, I gave my life to Jesus the last time we played you. And I'll tell you what, I'll go the other way. I'll give my soul to hell if you hire Jeff Collins as your coach. I will gladly spend an eternity with Lucifer if you hire one Jeff Collins as your head coach. Now, here's the thing. Daddy's coming to town October 12th. Now, you get to Dodges for 4 straight years, so we got to get our We got to get ours in now. Daddy Key's coming to town for the annual family reunion at Kenan Stadium. And I'm looking at you, Jeff. Daddy Wreck's going to be there too. Daddy Wreck will be making the trip to Chapel Hill this Friday, and I'll be sitting right there. That's where Colin's daddy will be sitting. And I'll tell you this. One thing you notice, third row tickets are $80 for North Carolina. Nice thing about playing North Carolina is it's very economical to get tickets at Kenan Stadium right now. I basically bought that whole section for $80 and a Casio wristwatch. So I was able to do some penny pinching there. And you're going to know I'm there. They might have to escort me out. That won't surprise me. Evidently, you can't bring in anything larger than a small piece of paper. So we'll have to get creative as to what I can bring into the stadium. Here's the reality. This is going to be a blowout win for Georgia Tech. And here's the embarrassing thing for the North Carolina Tar Heel. You're going to get the best version of whatever defense that Collins can come up with, because there's nothing he wants more. There's nothing he hates more than Georgia Tech. He calls us the other place. Oh, yeah, now when I was at the other place, you can't really see it. COVID was the reason. COVID scored 100 points to my nothing in the last 2 games of my third year. He tweets Phillies stuff. He retweets everyone that transfers out to Georgia Tech. Boy, he didn't retweet anyone more than Jeff Sims did. What's he doing now? Working at a Magic the Gathering shop selling Black Lotus cards or something? The worst talent evaluator in the history of modern sports. Said he was gooning over North Carolina players while he was at Tech. Well, now you got him, and you're giving up 1,200 yards of offense. How many did you give up in those 3 games? 2,500 yards of offense and 2,000 points too to go with it in 3 games. But they're your guys. They're your guys, right, Jeff? Haynes King's going to run for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's going to throw for another 280 and at least another 2 touchdowns. Jamal Haynes will have 115 yards and a touchdown. Pretty much everyone on our team. We might even let our right guard get a touchdown. We might, everyone on our roster will get to play. And there was a Tar Heel that had the gall to try and step in the ring with Wreck in the comments section. He said, "Duh, you're going to look real dumb when you lose at Kenan Stadium." I can't make you look any dumber than you already do. You root for the North Carolina Tar Heels. You got a billy goat as your mascot. Your team color is a baby color, an infant's color. That's what you've chosen for your university. Here's the truly embarrassing thing. You cheated for a decade across all sports. And you know how many ACC titles in football you have to show for it? 0. Your last ACC football conference championship was in 1980. Hell, my dad was like 5 years old then. My dad was probably wearing baby blue when it was appropriate to wear baby blue the last time you won an ACC title. Mac Brown said there are times he'd like to just leave the game that he's coaching in after the first quarter. Well, let me tell you something, Mac. We'll see if WreckTalk, Brent Key, and Georgia Tech can't make that a reality for you. I said I'm out of the score prediction business. Here's my score prediction for this game. Georgia Tech breaks the all-time scoring record previously held by Georgia Tech. 223-0. Have a good one.